What's up, y'all? It's Beck with 2 C's from Down Under, and I'm rocking with Chicago 77.3.
We lit live. This is WBBC Chicago. Yeah. 77.3, your hottest digital station. Now in digital HD sound.
What's going on, people? It's the one and only DJ Malone, man. Chicago 77.3, the best place to be at on any day. Really, how you guys doing? I'm doing blessed and highly favored. One thing I will say, Houston, you're doing it again. We talked about this in the springtime. I told you, if you got over to 101 daily, I gave you one chance to just do it one time. We're not doing this on the daily, 98, 99, 100. We're not doing that daily, man. So, Houston, you need to do better, man. But speaking of hot, man, we got a hot-ass artist coming onto the scene, man. I want you really guys to really get in tune with her, man, because I really, when I first met her, man, big shouts to Loveby, big shouts to her, man, and everything that she got going on. We got Rich into the building, man. Seth Rich is in the building. I wanted to say this. I really do respect when somebody says, hey, yo, I'm a rock with you, and every time I see you, I see Loveby, and I see the crew. So it's a movement. It's not just, oh, well, I help sometimes and I'm just here, or it's a family.
We family for real.
Yeah.
No, we family for real.
So
we family for real.
I always commended Loveby on that and her leadership and everything. And then you guys just, bigging each other up on everything. So let's go ahead and go introduce yourself real quick.
What's up, y'all? My name is Beck with 2 C's. I'm from Down Under. Now, DJ Malone, do you know where that is? Do you know what Down Under is?
Australia.
Yes, so that's where I'm from. We spoke about this off air. So I came here in December 2022.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's what, well, appreciate you coming through. That's what's up, man. Give a round of applause for that. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Big Beck with 2 C's. Definitely, man. Well, I appreciate you even being on here, man.
No, I appreciate you having me. Like, I've been meaning to tap in for a minute, and it's, it's always a vibe, like, when we link up at events and whatnot, your interviews, I really, love your depth and, your awareness of, not just, isolation in music, but, also, people and humanity, generally. And, I just really respect your craft.
Oh, man. So you checked me out before.
Of course.
Wow, that's an applause right there.
We there.
Yeah.
And you have, just the best, DJ voice, radio voice. It's just super hard. It's super hard.
I appreciate that, man. That's love.
I appreciate you having me here.
Hey,
yeah.
Now, let's go into a time machine real quick.
Okay.
Where did this music thing start for you?
It started, so I'm separated between writing and music because I think I've always been a writer ever since I was super young, just when I'm feeling type of way, just, before I could even spell writing out, how I was feeling or whatever was going on. So that's kind of been a constant through my whole life. Okay. But in terms of music, that really happened when COVID lockdown happened for us in Australia was around March 2020. Okay. We went pretty much the whole country went into lockdown, full lockdown. But yeah, we were actually in almost full lockdown for almost 2 years. So I had a lot of time, a lot of restriction, and quite early on, and I had actually just gotten back from a trip to the States for a nutrition conference because my background's in health and nutrition. Okay, and I had actually met an artist who he was pursuing, his ambitions, and I had never really met someone who was so ambitious and really committed his life to doing something creative because I felt in Australia it's everything's a lot more separate there and his belief in himself and how tangible it felt was contagious and that kind of it didn't really come into play but it was with me in the back of my mind and then when we went into lockdown I was what do I how I want to spend my time and writing has definitely always been there, but I was okay, I want to learn to freestyle. This shit is the dopest shit ever. To me, freestyling was the dopest shit ever. And so I started to learn how, looking to learn how to freestyle. And then I thought, okay, I better learn how to write songs. And that was just a hobby for very, very intensely for a good, year or so. Okay. And then, it was just in passing that my dad kind of made I think I was oh, can you imagine, Dad, if, I was, on stage, something like this. Yeah. And, he was don't put it past yourself. And, that was the first time I ever would have even pictured a reality of that. It was always, in the movies. It was always a dream. It was always far away. And then I think that's when, the belief as well of like the artists who I had met, like it all kind of came together, and I kind of decided, okay, well, shit, I might actually like try something here, and then I just really, it stole the trajectory of my life, and here we are.
I like that story, man. That's a cool story, and it's interesting too because I get the perspective of the person that's not from the States. So it's very cool to see a different perspective outside of the States. So whenever you were doing this, how do you look at the music scene, being from a different country, how do you look at the music scene at the States then?
I think so. For me, like when I grew up, I was more in like the punk rock genre of things. And for me, like that was a lot like playing on my like, you know, teenage years or like feeling like, you know, misunderstood and really connecting to like that kind of mindset and like community of things. So it wasn't really like even American music. Like it's an emotional connection to music that I feel raised me and connected to. Music was always like the number one thing that like got me through everything. So there's always like that respect, and it wasn't like this is American music and this is this. Like it was music saved my life type situation.
Yeah, I get that.
And then, you know, as growing up, or, you know, not growing up, but, you know, later on being introduced more to hip hop and whatnot, and just like feeling the ambition and the self-belief and the realness and the rawness, and you actually get to know the people. It's not like, you know, pop is a bit more, okay, this is a cool song, but like you don't connect with the person in the same way, I feel. And so just like that whole world just kind of, it just really took me. And I, you know, it was a very like uncomfortable ride because it was foreign, you know, in multiple ways. But, you know, and being a creative in any sort of way, there's always ups and downs and whatnot. But, you know, it's just, there's been something in me that's just pulled me and just kept as a constant, and that I can't not. And, you know, it's been everything, but it's also being everything means it's also been beautiful and fulfilling and incredible. And I couldn't imagine like, you know, anything else, you know. So, yeah. I
like that. Was writing always therapeutic for you?
Extremely, extremely. Yeah.
That's real. Yeah. When did you know about the artistry and okay, I think I got something here. I think I could do this.
I think I don't even know if it was like I think I can do this. It's more like I'm gonna try to do this.
Okay.
It was more like I'm gonna like make it happen, and if I could, like I would make it happen as much as I could, and I kind of didn't think too far from there. I think the mentality of like, is it here or is it not, was not, it was kind of like, this is something that I can develop or grow into, purely because like growing up, like when I was younger, I had really bad health issues. I like didn't eat well, like like it was just, I was the opposite of a health coach. And me actually becoming a health coach and, you know, learning these things, and I went, you know, undid a lot of my health issues. I have seen within myself like what I was in a situation of and totally flipping it.
Yeah.
And so just knowing that that's already happened, like me knowing that, okay, I don't know really much about this scene here, but I know that I've already flipped something before.
Yeah.
So I guess like there was a sense of like internal certainty. As much as there's also internal doubt, there's also like, okay, cool, it's like still in my power and in my control as much as it is. And if not, you know what, like I trust in myself to always do what I feel is right, and, you know, have the confidence that if I need to pivot, I can pivot. But right now I'm going full steam ahead because I really feel like this is the path.
I think too is that I think you believed in yourself enough to say, "Hey, yo, I'm gonna try this," and I think it. You know, we get to a point where it's like. You
have to.
Yeah.
You can't do it if you don't. You know, you really have to.
You have to. It has to come from within, because for a while, you know, I've always DJed. That's something that I always did. I've been DJing since 2005. So, you know, there was a point in time where I kind of doubted myself, because it's like, well, damn, I'm not getting the recognition that in my head that I'm thinking that I want. But, you know, that's a whole nother story. But the thing is that once I got out there funking, I'm like, hey, yo, man, I'm going to do what's best for me. Not worry about, hey, if I got this person or that person, what's good for me in the soul. So I respect that.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this. And as somebody that's not from here, what made you, one, leave the States?
The States?
Yeah. Well, leave Australia to come to the States. And then why Houston?
So they're kind of the same answer. So I work, so in, learning the craft, I'm a really big believer in like mentors and like learning off people, that may even be my learning style. Books and like work, like, just like text is like not for me. I'm a very like audible, speaking person, this, that, the other. And I was working with a coach online. And so we were working like online for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And, I'm still in lockdown. Like, you can't leave the radius of like 5 kilometers of your house, et cetera, like curfews, et cetera. But as soon as we could get out, I left Australia and I met him. He's in Houston.
Okay.
So I actually left and I did a 5-week intensive with him.
Okay.
And that's what brought me to Houston the first time. And just, being here opened my eyes to everything and just seeing, because America, for us, it's like you're living in a movie. But like movie is like everyday life for y'all, like, so it was just like this fascinating thing, but also like, learning, you can only learn so much from a distance. You have to be in the field. You have to be in the home of it all. You know, like,
I like that.
The 5 weeks that I was there in that first time, like I learned so and absorbed so much more, and I felt connected. I think being at home, like, cool, this is like the skill and the craft of it, but like I still felt disconnected from like the culture and the scene and being able to play a part aside from just like my songs, if that makes sense.
I get that. I like that.
Yeah, so that's how I landed in Houston. That's how I left. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the big cultural differences?
Okay, so this is how I explain the difference between Australia and America, like zoomed out wise, is that there's more extremes here in like every sort of way. But on a simplistic way, it's like there's more beauty and there's more opportunity, but there's also more ugly and like the floor is lower. So the opposite of that is like everything's a bit more closer in. So there's like this, the floor is not as low, but the ceiling's also not as high.
I get that. Okay.
So that kind of transcends in like all elements of culture and ways of operating and politics and this, that, the other. And it just depends. It's not better or worse. It just depends what you want to do. But I feel like with creative endeavors, particularly in hip hop, like this is definitely the place to be. And I felt free here. I felt like a fish out of water back home for a long time.
I ain't mad at that. I'm glad that you're here. We're happy that you're here.
Thank you.
Now, have you been to other states as well in America?
A little bit. I've definitely been to. I've been here. I've been to LA and Atlanta.
Okay.
And maybe like Dallas a little bit.
Okay.
But I haven't traveled around a lot.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it would be the same impact if, let's say, you went to a small state like Wyoming or something like that?
No, I really feel like, and I said this from the first time because I visited twice before I moved.
Okay.
Like Houston just feels like home in a way that I couldn't ever express. Like I felt like the streets and the soil calling me when like I was back home. There was just like this openness and like rawness to Houston, but it was like that I just feel really connected with. And even when you can get a taste of like and a feel of different cultures from different cities, and I haven't felt that anywhere else in the States. Yeah.
Well, you ain't been to Chicago yet.
This is true. This was on my list. Yeah. So can we go together?
Yeah. We got. We're gonna have to make that happen.
We're gonna make it happen.
We're gonna have to go to Chicago.
Hell yeah! Oh my God! You ain't been to Chicago. This is all.
You ain't been to Chicago.
We're definitely
going to Chicago. Definitely going to Chicago. I love the fact that, like I said, man, you guys have always been for each other and what's best for the movement and everything. How did you get into with like Lovey and meeting and everything?
Mm-hmm. So I actually went to one of her events with Trust who?
Yeah. Shout out to Trust.
Shout out to Trust. Shout out to Trust.
Yo, man. I need to get. Hey, I'm gonna hit him up because he been supposed to been up here, man.
No way I'm here before him. That is wild. But yeah, fair. Yeah. He is like my brother for real. He is family before family. Like he is everything. But I went to one of Lovey's events with him, and I didn't realize at the time, but that was a significant move. Like in Lovey's eyes, because Trust doesn't hang out with everybody. Trust doesn't go out with anybody. Yeah. He wasn't going to come and he said he wasn't able to, and later then showed up with me. So like already in Lovey's mind, like, okay, like, there was something there. There was something there, if like Trust is vibing with her, like this, that, the other. So yeah, I'd actually been to her radio show with Rest in peace, Chew the Bust Down.
Okay.
The first time I met Lovey and Thug. And then I came to Trust Show, which Lovey put on. He was opening for Lil Pat the Nicest. And then, yes, this third time, it was actually the night that I landed when I moved. So I got off the plane, dropped my bags off, and then Trust picked me up, and we went to this Rip the Mic show. Oh, yeah. And then, right? It was, literally, I was ready. I swear to God, I was ready. After a long enough flight, I was like, I'm ready to get in the scene.
I was like, who is this?
Yeah. And, then after the show, kind of said hey to a few artists and said, tapped in with Lovey again. And then the next morning, she hit me up about an internship. And it was, from there, kind of crazy.
We knew about the internship before. Before I said no, we've been knew about the
really?
intern. Yeah, well, me, I'm the best friend.
Really?
So yeah,
she was already,
she was already telling me about you. She was like, yeah,
Really? I love your information. What you mean? Okay.
What you mean?
Okay, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So she was telling me all about you. I was like, well.
Okay, tell me what she said. Well, come on,
we got
this
an
is exclusive
intern,
right now.
Intern you thinking about? She was like, well, I met this girl. She seems pretty cool. I think about giving her an internship, stuff like that. I said, oh, yeah? An internship? She said, yeah, she's real cool. I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I want to introduce you to her. I was like, all right, cool. Her name is Beck. I said, Beck. I said, all right. I said, Becky? She said, nah. She said, Beck. I said, okay. Okay, we gonna see.
Okay.
And then ripped the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, dope. You were she was so fucking green.
I was so green, yo.
Bro, she was so fucking
I was so,
green.
I was the first time I came, green. And then the next time, green. And then that one, green. And then, still a little bit green, but, less or so. But
it's just so crazy, how, seeing you over these years, from I'm talking about you wasn't saying too much, but I'm talking about she was a sponge.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, she
was learning a lot.
Yeah, no cap. And then to see her now on a fucking stage, going to school and shit, I'm talking about she fucking blossoming, just doing her fucking thing, man.
That means so much.
Look, man, that's inspirational. People need to learn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Came out here and I'm talking about running full speed. Full speed ahead.
But you know what that means, though? That means that... No, that's a beautiful thing, man. That's beautiful because he's actually seen the progression.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So when you have somebody that actually seen from point A to point Z and the leaps that you took in, hey, man, that's a tremendous thing. And also, too, is that tells me that it's no excuse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's either you gonna get out there or you're not. So, for somebody that come from a whole nother country and hit it. And I can attest this from what I've seen. You're at you two are at every event that I go to. Almost every event. And not just on what can I get for me, but to network, to build, to really support. Not just, I'm just here because somebody paid me to be here, or I'm trying to get it in with somebody so I can make something happen. You're really there for general support. And that's hard to find. Trust me.
No, for sure. No, it is. And, I feel speechless for a second. This is just, I'm so moved. But 100%. 100%.
We watching. We paying attention.
Wow. It's so nice to, even just, look back and, recap, thus far. And it's so... There's so much more to go. This is definitely, still, the beginning for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And, even, what you're saying about there's no excuses, in my mind about getting here. Because, it's not easy to get here for even an extended amount of time. So it was, my whole mentality was, I don't need a probability. I just need a possibility. I just need to find that one. I don't care how long it takes. I just need to find one way. That's all I need. And I just knew it was gonna there was no other way around it, and so
I'm gonna give you a prime example of what you're saying.
Okay.
I had in Chicago there was a club that I used to DJ at, and it was at the time it wasn't the most popular club in the world, but it was on the rise. So once the club owner was I did something crazy, and DJs, I don't recommend this all the time, but if you want to get your foot in the door, I said for the very first gig, I will pay you $100. I will pay you the $100 because I knew I'm good at what I do.
Right.
So once you see what I do,
wow, I love that.
So the only thing I needed was just the door. That's the only thing I needed. That opportunity. So once he seen it, oh well, damn, okay, come on through, because he's seen. Because a lot of promoters and club owners, they look at that. They look at if I bring you on, are you going to bring me my bottom line up? That's what they're looking at. Exactly. So as long as you can prove that value, you're going to be winning every single time. And so when I look back at what you just said is that a lot of times I just need the door. That's the only thing I need. Mm-hmm. So I don't recommend that all the time. But if you the type of guy where I look at that as advertising. So if I gave you this $100, I'm on, and my thing was I was kind of hard ass too. So if I said if I'm paying you this $100, I don't need none of your promoters. This is my block.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't need the promoter, because that way if another promoter comes in and says, oh well, I'm gonna have my guy, and they can truly say, well, I don't know if he really did it on his own. Yeah. I wanted to prove that I could do it on my own.
I respect that. That's super dope. And I think, there's it, I think some people have the mentality like money can buy you through, but it's more just like, seeing what's really in front of you and understanding what type of language the person in front of you is speaking. And sometimes it is financial, sometimes it is, in like a form of like other way. Yeah. But that's super dope. I love that.
But sometimes either two, it's like, some people, you're everywhere. So some people, and then you're with the right people. So sometimes you could be in a situation where, just like Lovely, I see she knows trust on food with everybody. So there has to be something there where it's nobody just waking up today and say, oh, I just want to bring somebody randomly and maybe hopefully
any mini money you.
So it's a good thing, and you always have great vibes, man. That's one thing. You always had good vibes. Let me ask you this. As far as a artist, what have you learned at now being an artist?
What haven't I learned? So much, but like I've also learned, it's been such an incredible journey of it just teaches me so much about myself, about the world around me, about people around me, about what I want, because like in terms of like from this life, because with being in the creative world, the templates of like, okay, you do this, then you do this, you get this credential, then you do this to this. Okay, cool. What do I want? I want this raise. Like there's none of that in this, so you kind of have to. You're forced to create your own vision, and there's no boundaries, there's no restrictions, unless the ones that you put on it, and that's the ones that you'll also come to face, and you learn your boundaries, and you learn, the restrictions that you put on yourself, and, if you're willing to look at it, you can either let it limit you, or you can, really butt heads with it for a minute till you break through, and then you learn like those lessons, and that's just from like the inner journey of it all.
Bust through that shit though.
Yeah, you do. And then, like, every time you come through and, like, on the other side of fear, it only levels you up and supercharges you to then have more confidence to, like, do it again. So next time you're faced with that, like, you're like, okay, cool, I just did this here, but it will, like, come at a different angle, and it will always take you off guard. But if you've done it before, you can do it again.
You're more comfortable now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's real, though. Somebody told me this before. Fear means that you're supposed to do it.
Facts. Chase the fear. Face the fear. For real. It's, like, everything is on the other side of fear. Like, it really is, and it sucks, but it really is. We were actually talking about this yesterday, that like, facing pain, like pain is, and like pain, I mean in the way that like, the things that like really hit you and like really trigger you, if you're facing that and like, analyze that within yourself, like when you're able to see that and be like, cool, this is like what I'm responsible for, this is what I don't want to touch again, that I realize, okay, this was like a hot stove or whatever, like you're able to then better direct your life, and like that's how you level up,
I think too is that, and this is what I will say, and this I'm going on a conversational tip, but I used to say, and this I think this is how I said it. The hardest conversation has the best designations, meaning any hard conversation that I had, there was always like something that came out of it, whether it was understanding, whether it was okay, now we move forward from this, whether it was a reset, whatever.
Or you see where you don't understand, like you see where the misunderstanding is.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of times, and just like kind of with you have to go through these hardships and these hard times in order to get to a plateau where you have an understanding of growth and how you even got there, appreciation, and then two, you could pop your shit. So I like this, man. I like this,
especially if you know the right people.
Yeah, facts,
exactly.
You know, and your radar, just increases for the right people because you can start to tell, okay, cool, like I've been through this, and you just increase your like. I call it like almost like a layers of vision, like a radar of like you can smell bullshit, like you can smell bullshit better, so then you're fucking with like the wrong people less and fucking with the right people more, and it just like then you share lessons and elevate, and it just kind of cycles up from there.
Hey,
a shit dar. Bullshit.
Yeah,
a bullshit dar. I like that.
Man, because I'm telling you, man, like people, they'll gaslight you for shit show. Man. They will definitely promise you things. And they're not gonna deliver at all. You know what I mean? It's just, oh yeah, I'm gonna pull up on you. Oh yeah, we gonna do this. We gonna work.
What I find is hilarious is like, sorry to interrupt this, on like Instagram, people are like, man, I fuck with your music, and like, this is the time I hadn't released anything. It's like, bruh, come on, like, it's like, I fuck with your music, like, tap in, like, you're right, like, people will compliment you, and like, it's like generic things that they think is generic, but it's like, that couldn't even be like, it's not specific to me, so fuck you mean, like, this is all cap.
But see, also too is sometimes I tell people, you ain't got to lie to me, especially information that I didn't ask you,
right?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, I've been around enough people because I'm in the field with different DJs and different stuff. So I'm in the field and I know people. And so when you have somebody say, "Oh, I did this, I could do this," and and it's like, okay, well, why did you tell me that information if you're just gonna lie?
You don't need to say it if you can do it for real.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
just do it.
Yeah. There's a difference where I'm telling you my resume or, because I'm vague with it. I'll just say, hey, I did this, I did that. But if you're just going to see it. I'm anything that, and I'm getting used to this, but I post on this phone. I just had a thing with LL Cool J. We did that, what was that, 2 weeks ago? We did the interview or whatever. Yeah, he has a new song out.
What?
Yeah, so I got to show it.
LL got a new song. Cool.
Yeah, with I think Rick Ross is on there. Rick Ross and no, it was Fat Joe. It was Fat Joe and somebody else. I gotta look it up. But yeah, he's out. He's back. He's outside.
Oh man, he's back.
He's back outside with you.
Yeah. So I like I said, man, I always respected, like I said, the hustle, the mentality. I remember whenever when your song came out, Victory Lap. And you would really, I could tell you're so passionate about it, man. And that passion really like, okay, well, let me support, because somebody that's really passionate about a record like that, hey, I need to check this out. And so let's talk about Victory Lap before we play it. Why the name? What's it about? Tell me everything.
So Victory Lap, the name, it's not a victory. It's like, it's not a victory. It's a victory lap, which implies there's like multiple of them. It's just not one. It's not about the destination. Like it's like you can have victories without. It's not this one final thing. Because I think people really feel like, oh, I'm not successful yet because I haven't reached this. And it's like this whole situation. It's like, no, like, every milestone that you hit is a victory, and like don't overlook that at all. And for me, like, the song in itself, that was my first release, like, my first single that I really pushed. Like, that was my first victory, like, not my first victory lap, but that was a victory lap within itself for me. Yeah. And it was just such a, like, I feel like I really found my voice sonically, but also what I was trying to, say and put out to the world. And I really just, like, really came into my own. I was, like, searching for, a long time because we, as artists, there's so many different faces that we have, but I felt like this is really, like, what I have to say. Like, this is really, like, what I feel. And it's just encouraging people to, be yourself and, no, like, we can't be each other. We're in a world, we're all trying to be the same. And everyone's like, hey, cool, like, let's try to get, you know, these eyelashes and this, like, and, you know, everyone's trying to, like, go for this one thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, even the same type of shoes, like, it's just crazy to me. And it's just, you know, like, no matter how much you try to dress like me, this or the other, you could never be me.
Right.
But it's as well, like, whoever's, like, you know, singing that or going along, that, like, that's the same for them. We can never be each other and just, like, stand on your shit and just, you know, like, we're making history for real. You know, when you believe in yourself, like, you make history.
I like that. That's dope, man. I want to get into it.
Hell yeah, me too.
You want to go introduce it real quick?
This song is Victory Lap, produced and engineered by Jones the General. My name is Beck with 2 C's. Let's get it.
Chicago 77.3. Turn it all the way up, man. Turn it all the way up. One time for the fun time. It's the one and only DJ Malone. Victory Lap. Let's get man, yo.
I don't know about a Malone mix.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I get busy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah. I'm not no push button DJ. I'm sorry.
Hell nah. Would never have thought. Can people tap in with you to get like Malone mixes like as a standalone thing, or they go to okay.
I mean, I just did a mix today. I be coy with the stuff, man. I don't really promote. I'm not good at promotion, man. But when I get on the ones and twos, we
got to. I'm with you. You know, like hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Shit.
Yeah, we in here, man. We in here.
I'm hyped.
Look.
It's more hyped than my own song. It's we got to release that like properly. Like,
hey, I ain't mad at that, man. Hey, but see, that's why I tell artists send me the DJ pack with the acapella, the instrumental, and everything. Now I can do it on my own, but it when you give the DJ that, he could go crazy and do all types of remixes and everything. So just a friendly reminder and tip for you artists out there, man. So make sure you guys get that.
So am in the right position?
Victory Lap. We're moving and grooving here. So Victory Lap. Is this the single, or is this are we working on a project here?
This is a single. I'm working on my next single right now. But this has been the single for the last, probably 6 months. So it's been a journey. The next one, should I drop the name right now?
Shit, I want to know.
The next single is called Big City.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that one is another. That's a story of a dynamic or a description of a dynamic that is very close to my heart from a point of something that really it kind of took the rose-colored glasses off for me and was just like, okay, cool, like, I don't want to say no more than that, but like, when I'm going to be back here when that drops and we're really going to talk about it for real.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
You know what's going on.
Big Beck with 2 C's.
I didn't even know.
We got exclusive.
We getting
exclusive.
Hey, I ain't mad at
Loveby
that.
got me so mad.
But you know what though? I think too is that it shows growth. It shows that hey, I really want to do this, and I'm excited for you, man. I'm excited for your journey and everything, man. So, what's going on for the summertime? What we got planned?
The summertime, is really for me just diving more cylinders into the craft and to this journey. As I said, living overseas but no vacation. I don't have this vacation mentality. I'm blessed that this is an enjoyable life for me. I enjoy what I do. It's definitely it takes you through a whole roller coaster of things. But I love. And I've chosen to love the life that I live, even if it's not always enjoyable. It's so fulfilling, and I find fulfilling is worth more than happiness or enjoyment, because it just hits in a different way. So the summer is still it's regular, but for me without school.
I like that.
Yeah.
What are you going to school for?
So my major, it's music business, but my major is songwriting and music production. Okay. Yeah, at HCC.
That's what's up, man. So it's in you.
It's in me. Yeah. I actually came doing kinesiology, which was my health side, but then somehow found that we have an amazing. I didn't even know about it when I came, but we have an amazing program at HCC, and that was my last semester was my first semester in that course specifically, and it's been amazing. It's called MISA, which is the Music Entertainment Student Association, which is pretty much a student run, student led association where we to do with entertainment and music specifically, and it's people from all different genres and walks of life, and we're really trying to not only build an internal system and skill set, but also really ingrain ourselves into like the external world. So the balance for me has been amazing between Misa through school and also the radio and with Loveby and the scene, and then also just my own endeavors. It's just been like a great balance between that. I've actually able to bring benefits to each of them, and they all kind of compound from there.
I like that. That's dope, man. That's what's
Keeps me busy.
Yeah.
Got
to be busy. Definitely, man.
Stay busy.
I'm so happy that you're here, man. I really am. What do you hope to see yourself in the next 3 years?
3 years, I definitely want to be touring.
Okay.
Yeah, that's easy. Like, I feel my not my end goal vision, but for me, like, international world tours, like that's just like what I feel so drawn to and just in love with the idea of. And from the part of that I love is just like, I know as an audience member, like when you see your artist, when you see a favorite artist, like you just feel this connection, and it's just like this experience, and I just want to be on the other end of that. So now I'm going to like concerts and stuff, and I'm just like, that should be me on stage, and it's like I'm analyzing it in a different way, but I think it's just so powerful, and like everything that to be there, everything that you have to have done before behind the scenes to get there is like so significant. Right. So it's almost like a identifier of like such a big journey and connection of everything before, like that goes behind that.
I want to see you on an Australian stage.
Hey,
international, sir. The whole we're going everywhere.
We're going back
Europe,
home,
Asia, States, everything. Australia, everything for real.
That'll be full circle.
We're going back home though, and then rocking out.
Yeah, we definitely do it. We're definitely doing a national Australia tour for sure. Probably that will be 2 or 3 years.
And then Europe, and Paris.
Hey, I can see you, man. I can definitely. I definitely think your music would definitely do good in UK too. Just the sound of it, I think it would definitely fit in that mode too. I always ask people this, and I'm gonna ask you this: What has been the most lesson learned in your music career?
I think the biggest lesson is like that constant like battle to believe in yourself when like the default is self-doubt. And I know that's coming back to what we said before, but that's probably like the biggest lesson. And there's so much that goes into being able to believe in yourself in that way. There's a lot of, just being open-minded to, the reality, but at the same time not believing what the reality is being put onto you. Yeah. And also, in music, you create your own reality, even if that's only within a song. Yeah. And it's being able to like believe and connect to that.
That's real. Yeah. I like that. That's dope.
Oh, that's a great question. I like that. It really made me think for a second.
Hey, I try to ask good questions.
You've asked amazing questions.
Where can the people find you? MySpace, everything.
Damn. So my Instagram is official.beck with 2 C's. My YouTube is being Beck with 2 C's, and my TikTok is being Beck with 2 C's.
Beck with 2 C's, man. Can you spell it just in case because sometimes we have slow listeners?
Oh, yes, for sure. So my Instagram is official, so OFFICIAL.BECC. And then the other two, so TikTok and YouTube, are being Beck, so BEINGBECC.
Okay.
Beck with 2 C's.
My dyslexia came out for a second. I was like,
not one
spelling.
C, but 2 C's. Definitely, man. Anything you want to say to your stalkers, your lovers, your supporters?
Just, as we're saying, like, just believe in yourself, even when the outside world or everything around you doesn't show you any signs that, it's going to happen, or that, to believe. But, if you have that internal belief, like, amazing things can happen, and you just really hold on to the narrative that you believe and want to live in, and, that you still make sure it works for you. If the narrative that you're holding is hurting you, be open to changing it, but still hold on to something that you want to live into.
That's amazing. That's what's up, man. I like this, man. This has been dope.
I love this. It's been amazing.
People all around the world, please support. Always support the people that I bring up here. Make sure you guys support Miss Beck with 2 C's, man.
Miss Beck, I like that.
You want to know why?
Miss Beck.
Because they dope as hell, man. So always support the people that I bring up here, man. I'm going to go ahead and end out the interview with that. But before you go, I'm going to ask you to look into this camera, and you're going to shout out your name. You're going to say your name, and I'm rocking with Chicago 77.3.
77.3. What's up, y'all? It's Beck with 2 C's from Down Under, and I'm rocking with Chicago 77.3.
Gang.
I nearly forgot that extra. The 2 popped out later. I was like, oh, I used the 2. And it came out later.
Beck with 2 C's, man. Make sure you guys stay in tune. Everything, man. Chicago 77.3 is the one and only DJ Malone. We out. Wow.
We lit live.